that began many months ago. By June last year, most of Nigeria's 18 political parties had fielded their presidential flag bearers through either direct primaries, the delegate system, or even by consensus. But soon enough, however, it became clear that the leading candidates are Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the APC, Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, Peter Obi of the Labour Party, and Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso of the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, in no particular order. So who among these four will win it? What is the part of each candidate to the presidency? And where does each candidate stand with the voters? These are the issues we discuss on this episode of Nigeria Decides 2023. My name is Suleiman, your uncle. And tonight, you, our esteemed voters, will also share with us through many ways. You can send your views through our WhatsApp platform and text messages. And when we're able, we'll take them and reflect them to the panelists. But before we continue, we'll take a moment's break. When we return, I have here with you the gladiators in this year's presidential election. Stay tuned. Mazi Paul Ibe. Some people call him Waziri Ibe, in reference to his principal, who is a media aide to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and also presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. You're much welcome here today.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Also with me here is, next to him is, sitting directly from me is Major Abo, who is the National Publicity Secretary of the NNPP. NNPP is the New Nigerian People's Party. You're most welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Good evening, viewers.
You're welcome. Also with us tonight is the Chief Spokesperson of the APC presidential campaign, Ali Muhammad Ali, also known as Ali M. Ali. You're most welcome, sir.
Well, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me in your studio. But let me just make one quick correction. I'm actually not the chief spokesman, but I'm part of the campaign team.
Thank you very much.
Spokesman, yes.
Thank you. And then finally, we have Dr. Tanko Yunusa, who needs no introduction, or who is a spokesperson of the Labour Party.
And now that's where the correction is.
And it is chief spokesman here, and I didn't want to be corrected twice, so that's why.
But you got this one, I have chief spokesman.
Exactly. So he's the chief spokesperson of the Labour Party. Gentlemen, you're all welcome to Nigeria Decides 2023. As we were saying earlier, all the gladiators are here, and all Nigerians want to hear is which of you think will emerge the winner first by Monday, Tuesday next week, but more importantly, by May 2029. But before we go into all that, we'll take a short break. Stay with us, our viewers. Welcome back. Before we continue, we would like to give maybe a small warning, because it's talking about who wins and who loses, and it's an election. So I'm happy the collegial manner in which we started this discussion, even before we all came on air. So it will help, as we said in Kano, if you can give punches, but we prefer friendly punches, not punches that will wound or whatever, but punches nonetheless. But I'm confident that we're going to have a beautiful discussion. So maybe let me start with you sitting right from across from me, Major. The NNPP, according to its presidential candidate, it said that you have visited 560 local government in this country campaigning on this election. Do you think that would take you to the finishing line?
Well, that's a very serious question. It's great, and we like answering it because, as far as we are concerned, we've done something that's very unique, you know. And by the way, let me let you know that as at today, it's no longer 580. We are hitting about 600 now out of the 774 local government councils. And the unique thing about it is all these have been done on the road, you know. We didn't have a reason to fly like others do. We've been able to go around all of these local governments, you know, by road, connecting, even stopping along our way at all the adjoining villages, you know. And the whole essence of it is, the mood of Nigerians is no longer the way it used to be, when they would come to tell you it's going to be done the way they want it all the way and all of that. For the first time, Nigerians are eager to see those who would lead them, you know, after this election. They would want to have them seated right with them. They would want to, you know, take them by their words directly, the way they are mentioned. They no longer believe in this practice of going to put them in the state capitals, in the stadium, you know, where promises are made, and these promises never get to be kept. So at the inception, we decided that what we needed to do was something different, you know, looking at the mood of Nigerians. And so we strongly believe that we've been able to go around by road, as at today, almost 600. We've been able to also articulate the pains, you know, associated with the huge infrastructural decay that the roads have suffered and other things, you know. The whole idea is by the time he gets in there, His Excellency Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso gets in there, he would be able to, you know, hit the ground running, knowing fully well that these are the difficulties, these are the expectations of the people and all of that. And so that unique thing, you know, that we have introduced into the campaign process is what we have going for us.
Thank you. So you say that by the time he hits he becomes President Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. Yeah. So I throw a general question. The other three panelists, do you agree that we are going to have President Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso in the next few days, President-elect first, and then later on, do you agree it's going to happen, whoever goes first?
Well,
yes, please.
Yes, thank you very much. We need to, the expectations of some people, supporters, it is important, we need to moderate it because, you see, it has a tendency to weaponize people. When their expectations are dashed and, you know, people will begin to throw tantrums and begin to, speak to rigging and all of that. The reality is that Nigerians will decide the president of this country on the 25th. That's in the next 72 hours.
Do you think they will decide your principal, Atiku
Abubakar? Well, we have made a very persuasive argument for why the Waziri Adamawa, is a preferred choice. Don't forget that we were the first of the, we were the first to start our campaign. We were the first to put a document which has been adjudged, as the best among all of the documents that are out there, the policy document, my covenant with Nigeria, 176, document that, lays out in broad, terms what the problems, where we are, what the problems are, the solutions, and how he intends to, recover, Nigeria that is battered, shattered. We have never been this divided. So we have articulated all of that. We are taking our message to Nigerians. And I think the message has resonated very well. And that is the fact that we've never been this divided. This country is broken, politically, socially, economically, suffering. And ironically, the party that is supposed to be running on the scorecard, what they have been able to do in the last 8 years, they are denying even policies of their own party. They spent the first 4 years, throwing kitchen, since and all of that are the 16 years of PDP. Now their last 4 years is being spent on not even taking ownership, of their own policy. And that exactly tells you, clearly, where we are.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Tango, we have a representative of the party right here with us. But to take off from where Mazi Paul Hibe just left off, if you remember at the beginning of this campaign, there was that jocular kind of thing between Tinubu and Atiku. congratulations for winning. Atiku congratulated Tinubu for winning the party ticket, and said that we are going to have this and so on. And then in Lagos, Tinubu said that there is one who is always running. He has always been running. Where is he running to? So do you think that Tinubu is going to outpace Atiku in this, is going to run or going to get there before Atiku in this election?
Well, from day one, it was actually a no context.
Okay.
No context, because you don't expect that by any stretch of the imagination, there's going to be a contest in such a way that an Atiku will be running after a bat. You understand? Because they are made of different stock, so to say. Because here you have someone who has bestrode the national political landscape for years, who, as opposed to someone who, you must give it also to the man who has never been daunted by serially failing to make it to number one. So there is no basis for comparison. One is not by any stretch of the imagination, because they are not in a race that, if you like, they may start from the same...
I'll give you a minute to disagree, but let him land.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they may start from the same starting point, but Asuwaji is already ahead. Why? Because, for example now, if you are to look at the optics, of course he says something about the APC disowning its own policies, but what I see is a house that is totally a discord from the days of the primaries when it was conducted and concluded. We had a group of 5 recalcitrant governors who have gone their separate ways, who drew a battle line, and up to this moment, reconciliation, they have crossed the Rubicon, no likely reconciliation. But the APC, as of now, the governors of the APC and the presidential candidate of the APC are unhappy with the policy which they've gone to court, that we think, we are convinced the presidency was misadvised. We are convinced that there is a shadowy cabal in the presidency, intent, and most of them are not even party members. And we strongly suspect that they are actually even from the dislodged PDP, actually. There were elements appointed into office by the magnanimity of the APC. Do they have names, or are they ghosts? Well, for now they remain shadowy, because they have certain visible features. But you see, we rather live them the way they are, incognito, but we are onto them, we know them. And thankfully, some of the things they have done to sabotage the APC is in the public space. We've had most even in our presidential campaign council. But slowly, they are being exposed by, first, they became a little bit overconfident, thinking that they have sown the seeds of discord that is likely to mar the chances of the APC in the coming duel. But the APC, we said, will forge ahead, even, like he said, disowning, quote unquote, our own policies, which we think are not even progressive at the time. What we welcome the Naira redesign and the currency swap.
If you allow me, we will come back to the Naira redesign and most of these other issues.
Yes.
And I will also have your 1 minute to disagree with what he says, or anyway. But in the meantime, I think the darling of the social media and of the virtual media and of the offline media, if you watch the Peter Obi's campaign, it's quite energetic and quite interesting, in the sense that what they don't see any difference between PDP and APC. They say it is PDP, APC. I don't know how you people call it, but some people are saying that Peter Obi will become president on May 29 on Twitter, not on at Eagle Square. What do you say to that?
Well, thank you very much. Quickly, I'm glad that you already said that probably there's a Sesame Twins here.
Okay.
Of course, you always.
No, I didn't say so. No, people are saying so.
Yeah. All right. Now, the true situation is that we have a situation where people have ruled this country for 16 years, and those who also are running towards the tip for another 8 years, as the case may be. But of course, they are product of the same source. We can say authoritatively that Nigerians are not better off of the situation. with all due respect, all of us are feeling the brunt of the Nigerian decay in the system. Is it in our educational line? Or is it in our security? Or is it in our economy? Or is it in the standard in which we are being viewed outside the country? Or internally, how we feel as people among ourselves? Every aspect of Nigerian decide to make Nigeria a good nation has been broken. And so what do we say? We bring out something new. And interestingly, you just talked about Twitter, and you talk about the social media and the rest of them. And the question you want to ask is that, are they spirits on the social media? They are human beings. It is a human being who imputes, who talked on the social media, and who exemplify, who exalt his own feelings, and then somebody collaborates with it. And for the very beginning of the time, when we started, we were assumed to be on the social media. But that dovetailed into a physical presence of the Nigerian youth. 40 cities on one day, on the October 1st of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, independently, these youth also showed themselves physically. And they rounded up this particular narrative physically too. Just a few days before we finish we are the first to finish our campaign across the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And we say that it is time for the Nigerian youth. Recently, the demography being proposed by the INEC says that 75% of the Nigerian youth actually registered and they are ready to vote. 45% of that particular total belong to the women. And that translates into the slogan of the Labour Party, Mama, Papa, Peking. Because it is actually for you to rescue Nigeria. And you can't stand on the sidewalk and say you want to rescue Nigeria. But I'm very happy that all of us allude to the fact that there is a problem and we are rescuing Nigeria. And we have provided pragmatic situation and solution based on the 72-page document of the Peter Obi that is saying it's possible, based on the 7-point agenda, and very, very clear. So nobody should be in doubt. We are not here to blackmail or antagonize or accuse anybody, but we will talk to the issues, and we're ready to be challenged by anybody on the basis of issues that we want to change Nigeria from a consumption nation to a production nation, for an insecure nation to a secured nation, for a docile society to a very active society, and from a society that also almost been balkanized by so-called leaders of the past, and getting it back to the spectrum of projection that yes, Nigeria is possible again, and under the leadership of Peter Obi and Dr. Baba.
I'm being told that we have just 1 minute more to break. So maybe before that, which factors do respective party members here feel will lead to election? Here you said that you have the best manifesto. You said 40 cities, people, youths campaigning for your candidate. You said you visited 600 local governments to win. And you have a candidate that is uncomparable to any other candidate on the slate. The question is, does that translate to victory at the polls? You know, when Nigerians go out to vote, what do you think they will be looking out for when they come out to vote?
A bridge builder.
Yes, please.
A bridge builder.
Okay.
Which Asuwaju is known for. He has built bridges over the years. He has made available his vast political network to even elements like Atiku Abubakar. When he was sent packing from his party, for example, in 2007, it was Asuwaju who actually provided a platform. From them, by 2011, again, provided another platform for someone to take a shot at the presidency. By 2015, this ability to harness various Nigerians, bring them together, form government, a rainbow coalition when he was governor of Lagos State, finally manifested in the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari. So Nigerians will be looking at a bridge builder, in the true sense of the word, a bridge builder, someone who will unify the country. The moment you have that unity, then perhaps you are home and dry. Then the others naturally will fall into place.
Thank you.
That's what Nigerians, I think, will be looking
at. So bridge builder, when we return, because bridge builder, and then you would tell me unifier. But before we okay, you would say bridge builder looks like what the PDP have been saying for quite a long at the beginning of this campaign. They would say unifier, unity. You've said it that Nigeria has never been more divided, and so on. Do you think that's what Nigerians are bothered about? That they're looking for somebody to unite or to build bridges? Or...
It is important.
Okay.
You see, it's not a broken economy or the absence of zero. We don't even have an economy. That's not what is the biggest issue. Our biggest challenge is unity. If there is no unity, you can't even be able to have, the right atmosphere to begin to, solve the economic, issues. Atiku Abubakar, bar none. I mean, we speak about shoe has size, and Tinubu cannot wear the shoes that Atiku wears.
Interesting.
As far as the politics of this country is concerned, and as far as the bridges that he's not only building bridges. Atiku is the bridge. He's a bridge, and here is one man who can pick his phone and speak to an individual in 774 local governments. Yesterday, we had a virtual, drive in the comfort of his home. He was interfacing, with all of the 774 local governments who were taking advantage of the opportunities that technology, has brought. So it would be wrong for my brother and my friend to begin to equate Atiku to Tinubu. There's a difference between those who drink Coca-Cola
and those who drink water.
and the rest.
Okay. Coke and the rest. Interesting. Yes, Neju. Do you
Well,
think
it's interesting, listening to the PDP and APC talking about a divided nation. The question is, who divided us? 16 years of PDP, 8 years of APC. How did we get here? That's why we've insisted that what we need as a country, is something completely new, led by people who believe actually in the unity of the nation. How did we get here? Well, we are not here to, like you said, whatever we need to do here should be friendly punches and all of that. So I want to stay on the issues. What we are saying is this. In the past, Nigerians have had leaders that didn't put in energy going to talk to them. Now, what we have done is to demystify that. What we've tried to do as a party is to let Nigerians know that it's possible for you to have your leaders come to you, and you can establish direct, social contracts with them, and you'll be able to hold parameters within which you'll be able to hold them accountable. That's the new phase of this politics that we're trying to bring in. So what we are saying is simple. We are divided massively, like they have said. Our economy is dislocated. The infrastructure is almost near zero. But the question is, how did we get here? And so what we want to do is to ensure that we have a country that works for all of us. A country that you and I will be proud to say this is our country. A country that your children, my children, by the time they grow up, they will be able to say these were the contributions made by our parents, to have brought this country to this level where we are now comfortable. What we are saying is simple. Government is about the people. Government that is disconnected from the people is not a government that fares or thinks about the welfare of the people. And that's why we have tried to ensure that our leaders are leaders that stay with the people. And if you look at the antecedents of His Excellency Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, you will be able to know, of course, as a core northerner, you should know, that he is one man who has stayed on the side of the ordinary people all along. As governor of Kano for 8 years, he gave out all that he had for, to better the lots of the ordinary people. As Minister for Defense, he ensured that the country was safe. You understand what I'm talking about? So these are some of the antecedents, because when people come to say, this is what we want to do and all of that, and these are people that are non-faces. I think it has reached a point where Nigerians should now begin to reduce, what should make them make their choices to antecedents. These people you are talking about, what did they do when they had the first chances, the second chances, and all of that? How did they go about it? What do they have to show for, having had those chances? So what we are saying is, it is time for Nigerians to now begin to see that their decisions should be based purely on what they know about the candidates in question. I don't want to speak about any candidate.
Let me bring
then the issue of energy, the issue of capacity.
Because we are four, we have to allow other people opportunity to speak. So, Dr. Tanko, I'm back with you now.
Yeah.
So, okay. I wanted to respond to
I listened to the bridge builder and I listened to the unifier. Okay. And then it's an admittance of the fact that there is a problem.
Okay.
Now, the problem is who unify. In total honesty, the North has ruled this country for 52 years. 52 years. North has been ruling. And here also, the Southwest has also had its fair share of ruling. What about the Southeast? What about the Southeast if we are talking about unifying this country? In total honesty, if we are talking about unifying this country, the only honest thing that we need to do as a country and as stakeholders, both the unifier and the bridge builder should have stepped down and said, look, let us go in and give support to our brother in the Southeast.
Interesting.
For unifying sake and for just the country to survive. In fact, to tell you, let me make it publicly, this is the reason why I, Dr. Yunus Setanko, is in this particular game.
So it's a democracy.
Because we believe that this country needs to be unified. We have left most of our brothers completely in annihilation, making them believe that probably they are not even part of this particular country. So let's even look at it. 8 years or 4 years, let's give it to them and say, look, go and rule this country and let us see how you can manage it. In our own part of the world, I am a core Anotana. For 52 years, look at the situation in the north. 133 million Nigerians are in abject poverty. And 4 of their particular states come from the northern part of this country, including my own state. What do you justify that particular cause of you leading this country? Even some of the people who are talking about unifying this country, go back to their own town and see exactly how it is being made, how is that particular state being midwife. That's practically, I was in those particular states at the point in which some other people were using digital line, they were using analog.
Okay.
And these are facts that we have to look.
I will allow you continue as soon as we come back from break. But
Please
take a break now, just
Please.
a short break. Yeah. Thank you. We hope that viewers at home have been enjoying this session of where the candidates stand in the 2023 elections. We'll be right back.
Our lives in better, oh. When change people come, no work, no food, economy forgotten. Naija borrow, bad rich is full town. Japa left and right, Sapa up and down. No need to gamble, say joy. PDP don't come, say joy. Recover Naija, say joy. We don't tire to suffer, say joy. Experience mind, say joy. We don't want experiment, say joy. Get them right, say joy. This time our life, oh, say joy. Recover Nigeria, say joy. Atiku na the man, oh, say joy. Atiku Adokowa, say joy. Na the only choice, oh, say joy.
Vote the safe choice to recover Nigeria.
PDP! Power to the people!
Now, PDP Presidential Campaign Council sponsor this message.
Welcome back. We're discussing issues around, we're discussing where the candidates stand in this election, and we're on Nigeria Decides 2023. So as we were saying, all of these issues will boil down to which candidate fulfills 2 conditions on this Saturday, 3 days from now. Which candidate has the highest number of votes, and which candidate has the highest spread of votes. By the spread of votes, that is winning at least 25% in 24 states. So which of these candidates do you think is going to make it so? Which states do you think your candidate is going to win, and why?
Atiku
Yes,
Abubakar is favored by geography and demographics.
Okay.
I mean, to be president of this country, you have to have 25% in 24 states, and then win, they have the highest number of votes. It's very clear. I mean, we have tracked, the polls, we have tracked the numbers, and we know that on the 25th, it's only a matter of time. And we will run a government of national unity. My friend Tanko, the Colonel, my friend Malam Ali, you will all be part of that government.
Have you entered to some kind of deals with them?
Yes, that is a strategy to douse the tension. I spoke about unity. And I think it's also disingenuous to aggregate the military rule and the civilian rule. We've had civilian rule in the last 24 years. In those 24 years, the North had ruled, by the time Buhari will be completing his tenure, 8 plus 3, 11 years. And the South has ruled for the rest of the years, which means that mathematically, the North is still owed 4 years. And so it is disingenuous to aggregate military rule and the civilian rule. I'm a very proud Igbo person from the Southeast. I want the East to also rule. But I'm also not unmindful of the fact that we're in a democracy. And nobody will hand over power to you. You need to engage to be able to take power. And the rest of the country. Buhari himself saw a bit of that. With his 12 million votes in the bank, he could not be president until he was able to have a handshake across the other regions. So that is the reality of the political existence.
Thank you. So, Maila Ali, M. Ali, do you think your candidate is going to win this election in 3 days? And which states in particular, do you think will drive that victory for him, and why?
Well, let me just say what, to add to what my friend said. When you listen to an obedient like Dr. Tanko,
A full one.
And useful.
And useful as well.
Yes.
They are masters of sophistry. Arguments, they can quote figures, argue passionately. Well, there's nothing wrong with passion, but that's no reason. When he argued about, which my friend again, Mazi Paul Ibe has so deconstructed, that it's sheer sophistry to equate military rule as none of them superintending over the affairs. So that's being said. How do we see the election? How do my candidate stand? You see, if you look at the optics, the APC right now has the largest number of federal legislators in both chambers, controls significant, more than, 22 of the 36 states, the governors are firmly behind the candidate. So you look at the optics, you will say yes.
Do governors control the votes in their own states?
Well, ideally they should, but you see, when you serve cumulatively for 8 years, no one gets into government and gets out of the government with the same rating he went into government over the time. But at crunch time, they still can pull their weight. But the difference between our candidate and the others aspiring to lead is because he can connect. He bided his time. He took time. He built coalition, years of relationship, connecting with people. He didn't wake up today to say, I want to run. Because
So like how many states do you think, which states can you say?
When I say, let's go geopolitical.
Because Nigerians would like specifics.
Yeah, well, let's
all
go.
All the viewers listening would like
no,
specifics.
because look at the Northwest, for example. We have 7 states there. I can tell you that confidently that out of these 7 Northwest states, we're going to win 6. Outrightly, we're going to win 6.
Which one would you not win?
You see, when I say 6, outrightly, I'm not going to, because the thing is, this is public space, you understand? But from the optic, from what, like he said, well, let me use his word, they're tracking the polls. We also are tracking the polls. Look at the polls, unfortunately conducted in the past, when the LP candidate repeatedly, including foreign media, endorsing or saying that he's galloping to victory. But you see, in 2015, such institutions actually said Jonathan was going to win. Bloomberg, ANA polls, NOI polls, most of them have direct link with the presidential candidate of the AP and the LP. But Jonathan came short, and it was so clear that at 2015, Jonathan was going to kiss the canvas, because Buhari now, having extended his hand of friendship across the Niger, with his bankable repeatedly for 12 years he was a bankable project. And the logical thing to think is that, like they say in Washington, there are no kids, only voters. It doesn't matter, so long you have the votes. And coming back about this idea of perhaps if really, I am for rotation. Rotation to me is the surest way to have a stable unit polity. But as it were now, sometimes it's the attitude that determines your altitude. It's a cliche now. It has become a cliche. Your attitude, you don't, when you isolate yourself, you're not connecting with people and you expect people would deliver power on a platter. No, you have to do the work, you have to connect with people. And unfortunately, what I see the Labour candidate doing is that fixation with people who, I mean, clearly is not connecting with the whole of the people. There are some favored ones.
I have to bring in Dr.
Yes.
Tanko now, because both the PDP and the APC spokespersons are saying that your party is going to fall short because your hands across the Niger, your hand across the Niger is not long enough, or not strong enough, or friendly enough, or
It's actually short.
it's actually short. So, how do you respond?
Let me quickly go back to a little bit of some of the things that were said. Let me be frank here. When you are in power, whether you are in military or you are in civilian, when they are going to refer to Muhammadu Buhari, did they not tell you that he was once the president or head of state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? When they refer to Olusegun Obasanjo, didn't they tell you that he was once the head of state? And
So
where
it
is the
doesn't
difference?
matter.
What's the difference?
How they came into
the
office.
The thing is this. My colleagues from the Sesame Street, they are very good in manipulating history to their own interests. That one is sure. So even if I say it's white now, I claim it as white, they can easily turn it into a black and then you cannot even defend it. And so, but the fact remains the fact. Our people have ruled this country for 52 years. And a Northerner cannot justifiably tell you that he has gotten a benefit of good leadership. Even if you are going to play politics, why don't you even think about voting for somebody from the south who will come?
So should
and
that
say-
disqualify the
now-
PDP?
Oh,
and
obviously.
Okay.
Obviously. I already said it, obviously.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Obviously.
That's a coup.
How is it a coup? I'll come back to that. Okay, why do you think it's a coup?
It's a democratic coup.
Okay, democratic coup. Fine. Good
It's a
answer.
democratic coup.
Go ahead,
And there's no apology to that.
Yes.
Let me continue now.
Why do you
With
place
regard
the
to
NNPP
issue
then?
of connecting.
Yes.
Let's even be sincere to ourselves.
Go ahead.
I just told you that 75% of the Nigerian youth are adjourned to have registered to vote for this particular election. They are cut across the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is not on one side of the divide or the other side. There's no difference. A poor man in the north is not different from a poor man in the south. The youth that was not given employment in the south is not different from the youth that was given unemployment in the north. So they are together. So we have reached out. I can tell you, I can show you video right where I am speaking to you right now. I sent materials of campaign to a small lady qualified to vote. Her name is Umera Umar. She's from that Nkowa in Yamatudeba in Gombe.
In Gombe, yes.
As we speak, that lady is already on the street proposing and sharing Peter Obi, and they are rushing it like shawarma. That's to tell you that our people have been connecting with the
So
people.
should we expect victory for
Of course,
Peter
and
Obi
the
in
question
Gombe
that
State?
you asked,
Realistically speaking,
yes, you are
yes.
asking about the state.
Okay.
In history, in Nigerian history, there are 3 states that you must win to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. 1, Kano State. 2, Rivers State. And 3, Lagos State.
Okay.
As we stand today in our movement, we are 100% sure we will win Rivers State. I am not sure any one of the 2 can be determined to win any of their own states. And my reason is this. Because in that particular state where I come from, of course, my greatest one of our respected leader can possibly win Kano State. And that is Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. Possibly can win Kano State. But of course, they are going to struggle it with him, both of them in that Kano State. And we don't know how it's going to turn. In Lagos State, I can tell you 100%, if we don't do 45 or 55%, we might even win Lagos State. Because of the number of the Nigerian youth who are domiciled in that particular domain. So we have on practical terms that those particular 3 states are the major decider of an election because of their large number of voters. And then all others we can pick in and then represent our. So in our own thinking, we have connected for the first time in the history of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the demography that was completely being annihilated and neglected, which is the Nigerian youth. In the last election, in the last registration, 12.5% million of them registered singularly because of Peter Obi. And that they are the one today, they are the one actually carrying forth our campaign. Then they carry their mother along. They carry their father along, representing
And their girlfriends.
Mama,
And thank you. Yes, please.
Yes.
I will come to you shortly. Yes,
Yes.
please.
Speaking about history.
Okay.
I mean, it's disingenuous again to speak about Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, His Excellency, and Peter Obi as if they fell from the sky. They were part of the PDP. I mean, if you dry clean them and bring them out, it doesn't change the fact that they were part of the PDP. So we need to put that, straight, and put it on the record. They were part of PDP, And,
So both, it's not like they now come out and start saying
what
PDP
is-
bad, PDP
what
bad.
is it that
Whatever is bad about PDP.
What is it that is fresh?
Okay.
New about it. They were part of the process. He was governor of Rabi Musa Kwankwaso was governor under PDP in Kano. And let me tell you, you can win all of the votes in Kano,
Okay.
in Rivers, and in Lagos, and still not win the election. If you don't make 25% in 24 states of the country, you will not win the election. So I think it's a.
So let me bring Major in, because Kano has been mentioned several times, and it is mentioned as one of the key states that a candidate must win to win the presidency. And only your candidate comes from Kano, from among the four leading candidates. What chance do you think of your Rabi Musa Kwankwaso winning this election and winning Kano along with it?
Well, first, Tanko is an indigenous of Kano. He's speaking from a vantage position. And as if he's reading through my mind, I don't want to put in energy in talking about Kano. Kano already is in the kitty, that I can assure you. For us as a party and for our presidential candidate, we have always been arguing that every politician must have a base. And we have worked, strategically and tactically, being guided by the distribution of voters, as it stands now. We strongly believe that the influence of His Excellency Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, is not, we don't want to talk about Kano. It cuts across the entire Northwest. And so when you hear either the APC or the PDP say that they have something they can pull out of that zone, what we do is to laugh, because here is one man that, of course, a few days ago, just about 2 days ago, we're mopping up the last set of voters, to ensure that we come out victorious. A few days, just about 2 days ago, he was in Fontua. From there to Hadija and a couple of places. Each town he got into was shut down. It's like the Messiah has come and all of that. And remember that our strategy all along has been not to, of course, we're not trying to say that we're already comfortable there, because in politics it's not over until it's finally over, But then we have always had this belief that he is strong in his base, which is the Northwest. And I can tell you that I doubt if there's any other politician, any other of the remaining three presidential candidates that can confidently beat his chest to say, I'm also strong in my base. Because like Tanko has said, the Labour Party is struggling to take Lagos. Like he has said, that's his analysis, He's not talking about...
They're struggling.
He's not talking about the inroads that the NNPP and its presidential candidate has also made in Lagos, We've had a couple of rallies in Lagos. First was when the Hausa community in Alaba, Rago, that Lasu area, had issues, with Lagos state government. His Excellency went there, and it was clear that Lagos does not really belong to anybody.
Depending on Hausa community.
That's not what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to tell you, what we have done, and that the pictures are there in public space, And then the last one was when he visited, after our mega rally in Ibadan, we went into Lagos, where we went through Agege, we went to Mile 12 Market and all of that. Let me assure my colleagues here that Lagos is up for grab, because Lagos, by its nature, is more cosmopolitan than any other town in this country.
Thank you.
There you
I
see.
like this idea.
Let me land. And so I'm thinking that with the distribution of voters, as released by INEC, remember that this election will be decided on two tripods. The first is simple majority. The second is the spread, you know, across 24 states. And so we've worked tenaciously towards ensuring that that is real. I can tell you that the Northwest, let me conclude this analysis, the Northwest is already in the kitty. Then the Northeast, where one of the presidential candidates hailed from, like Tanko has said, yeah, he has alluded to the fact that we would also go into that state and see how we can take it away from the person. We are there, you know, Gombe is there, Bauchi is also there, and Adamawa, where probably the PDP candidate is coming from, is also there. So I can tell you that we are not looking at 24 states anymore. We are looking at, because you know, when the politician wants to test his popularity and acceptance, he doesn't limit himself to, you know, a few states. What he does, he will be targeting the entire 36 states and FCT. So we are already looking beyond 24 states, and then that simple majority. What we want to do is to win at the first ballot emphatically, and so that will be decided in favor of His Excellency Rabi Musa.
A number of issues have come out here, particularly the position of Rivers State, a very interesting state, a state where you have the runner-up to the PDP primary election, where he is currently governor. A state that is, I think, either the third or the fourth largest in terms of voting strength in the country. After Lagos, Kano, Kaduna, I think the next is Rivers State in terms of voting strength. A state where we have heard that the APC candidate has entered into some sort of alliance. At least newspapers have reported that, you know, and Tinubu was well welcomed a few weeks ago. So how is Rivers State going to work out for you? But also the northeast of Nigeria, which he mentioned as well, because that's where the president, the candidate of the PDP actually comes from. And people in Nigeria tends to go more for president than for vice president. Thank you.
Well, let me just say, look, so when I see Labour and NNPP, what I normally do is that it's actually not really my problem. It's the problem of the PDP. After all, the Labour candidate and the NNPP candidate, it was from the boards of the PDP that they moved away. And I mean, so they're actually a problem to the PDP more than to APC. But having said that, listening to, you see, when people say structures don't matter, at the close of, at least by INEC record, we have 176,947 polling units nationwide. Of all that, the NNPP and the Labour Party, by INEC record, are short in giving agents of name of their agents. So that itself exposes these two parties to and then they have yet to fill, there are vacancies in the senatorial seats, in representative seats. So when they talk about structure now, how well grounded are they to win some of this vote? Now, coming back to specifics, really, the Northeast, look at it. We have equal number between the PDP and the APC. There are 6 states there, and APC controls 6, and 3, PDP control 3. Yes. And one of the APC states is still shaky. Bauchi is still shaky. Today, the governor is there struggling to find a way to remain afloat. Tomorrow, he's G1 today, tomorrow he's back into the fold. So, and then you look at Bauchi and Borno and Yobe. You know that one is in the kitty. But let's look at even Kano. Incidentally, myself, I'm from Kano.
Borno and Yobe, are they in the kitty for APC? Why not? Why are they not in the kitty for the PDP also?
Yobe? Because Yobe traditionally has always been, until 2015, has always been in the opposition. Traditionally, when even great political greats like the late Adamu Chiroma, the late Liman Chiroma were from Yobe, but you find that Yobe has always been more on the left. Progressive politics until the PDP was dislodged and the APC opened shop in 2015. And that's when they played mainstream politics. If you look at the record, from 1991 till 1992, after the military interregnum, between 1993 to 1998, UOB has always been progressive politics, away from conservative, if you like, which the PDP represent actually, and entrenches the politics of do or die. So, if you look at it, then where else? Taraba actually, it was APC actually mismanaged its fortune in Taraba State. Remember, Mama Taraba later Yes, I'm forgetting her name, God rest her soul. She was actually, caused a major upset, but it was the court that actually dismissed her case, and she had a very valid case. Until recently, the APC looked good to cause another upset. But then it has also, again, somehow, and we think that it has been instigated by the ruling party, what we have in the APC in Taraba State. So if you're talking of sub-regionally, and then back again to Kano has all. When people talk about, yes, maybe if Kwankwaso was running for governor, perhaps, just perhaps, the same way Obi captured the imagination of people who are untutored and therefore not knowledgeable about the wily nature of foxy politicians who yesterday they were in the mainstream party, but only because they thought they were going to lose nomination, then they come and then excoriating the party they left. And also is in tandem with the political trajectory of the PDP presidential flag bearer. Each time the door is shut in his face, he moves to another political party, political platform, because he wants to realize his ambition. Unlike the APC presidential candidate who has remained steadfast. He's never changed camp, only changed metamorphose from the AD
So metamorphosis is different from change.
SDP.
Yeah, from job.
I think the PDP was
And please let me place it on record.
Okay.
The NMPP has a total of 176,200 agents as we speak to you now.
across the country.
Yeah,
Interesting.
uploaded by INEC.
Thank you.
That is to counter what he said.
What he said earlier. Thank you. So, Mazi Paul Ibe, a lot of what have been said so far in the past few minutes relate directly to your candidate, particularly in relation to Rivers, but also the Northeast, where he comes from. So, which state do you think, can you tell us, or which states
I just hope
do
that
you think Atiku will win in this
I
election?
hope my friends are not suffering from political malaria. You know, and I said earlier that we need to, these expectations, and you're going to be shocked. There's nothing for you to play in the Northwest and the Northeast. We will trump the APC and every other person. And we're looking at about 85 to 90%. We'll be competitive in the North Central.
This high fever, this high malaria.
We'll pick up states in the Southwest. Very competitive in the Southeast.
So, which states in the North Central do you think you will pick up?
In the North Central?
Yes.
Haba. Plateau is up for grabs. Listen, you see, to be president of Nigeria, you need to appeal both to Christians and Muslims,
Of course.
and traditional worshippers, and Igbos, and Yorubas,
Yes.
and Hausas.
Thank you.
And if you think that by going to predominantly Christian
I'm
communities to
hearing
campaign,
from instruction
or
from
going
the
to
studio
campaign
that
in
it's
churches,
time. But
will
and
give
I
you
wanted
the-
to
will give you victory. You're
Dr.
wrong.
Tanko 1 minute. Okay.
You're wrong. And that is the edge that Atiku Abubakar has. He has a global appeal, cutting across tribes, religion.
So, how many states do you think you will win, minimum?
We will win outrightly 24 states.
At least 24 states.
24 states.
Thank you. So, 1 minute.
Okay,
just
let me
short and sharp.
Let me quickly clear the position of saying that probably
They're saying seconds.
he has
Just
removed
short
him
and sharp.
from PDP. When you have contributed to a political party and the political party is docile, is not moving, you can move to another party. And let me tell you also,
I have to
with
cut
regards
you
to
short
the issue
because
of
our
polling
time is up,
We have now
unfortunately.
230 polling units combined with ADC who are just subbanned. So we are not short. We are not short. In fact, we have more than any other political party
Thank you.
as well.
Thank you very
Because
much. Thank
we
you,
don't have enough time.
Gentlemen. As we draw the curtains of today's episode of Nigeria Decides 2023, I will leave you to ponder on the words of an American author, Nanette Every. That talk is cheap, voting is free. Take it to the polls. So it is our responsibility and also an expression of our commitment to ourselves, to one another, and to our country, Nigeria, that we ensure that we participate in this general election. My name is Suleiman Suleiman. Bye and God bless.